Hello, metalheads all over the world, boys and girls, children of all ages, and welcome back to yet another episode of the Horsemen Podcast. I know, 3 weeks in a row of episodes. I know, it's unheard of.
Mhm.
I know. And for once, I'm not alone for this episode. I am joined by my co-host Ricky once again, and together we are back for a third time. We have reached all-time legendary status with this guy. Our
Mhm.
good friend, our Scottish brother from another mother. Please welcome James McBain from Hellripper.
Yo, guys, nice to be back. Third time, like you say. Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you very much for keeping on having me, man.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh yeah, we'll always love having you.
oh yeah, we'll never say no to having you on here. It's always great. I mean, the last time we had you on here was 3 years ago, not long after Warlocks, Grim and Withered Hags came out,
Wow.
and we did the top 10 first wave proto black metal albums, which
Yeah.
that was a lot of fun to go over some classic albums. But yeah, we are back here to talk about what's been going on with you and the live band over the past few years. I mean, getting to finally come to America for the first time for Hell's Heroes, and new album already coming out in late March, which I have a tough time pronouncing, which you could probably help me on that.
Yes.
Coronach.
Coronach. Okay.
Yeah.
All
I'll
right.
try to remember that for whenever I
Yeah.
talk about it at the end of March. So, yeah, already got it pre-ordered, and I can't wait for it to be here
Thanks,
the
man.
day it's released, and you're
Mhm.
absolutely welcome. So, but a lot has happened with Hellripper over the past few years. The Warlock script, Withered Hags, I mean, rave reviews, including from myself. That it was my album of the year of 2023.
Same with me.
Well,
Same
thank
with
you,
me.
guys.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
absolutely
Thank
magical. Like one of the best albums I have heard in a long time.
Mhm.
Well,
And
thank you very much, man.
hey,
Appreciate that, man. Yeah, that's crazy
Yeah.
to hear, man. But yeah,
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah, the riffs are still in my head. Like I know it's been 3 years, but the riffs are still as fresh as the first time I listened to them, to the point that some of those songs are in my workout set. So that's how
Perfect.
good they fucking are.
Perfect.
yeah, I need to get back into working out, but that's beside the point. Um, but of course, the big thing, actually two big things to have happened since was, of course, as I brought up earlier, you getting to finally do a show here in the States, doing the big Hell's Heroes show. Was that last year?
It was 2 years
Yes.
ago. Oh yeah, it was
2020
last year.
or
Last year.
last year?
Yeah.
Last year.
Yeah, coming over to Texas for Hell's Heroes. Ricky actually wanted to ask you about that.
Yeah. So, how was it being that this was your first time in the States, and of all places in Houston, which is one of the biggest capitals in the United States? How was your experience coming in? And did you finally taste the legendary barbecues, the water burger? Because I know I had to ask you about that.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was amazing finally being able to come over to the States. After how many years? 10 years or something. And yeah, I mean, Hell's Heroes, it was just such a great festival. It was like such a community kind of feel to it. So it didn't really feel like we were playing like a festival. It was just like we were hanging out the whole time, just like us and like everyone, like different bands were just kind of walking around the place and watching other bands and hanging out with everyone, and then going for food at various places and drinking at various places and going to the like after parties and stuff like that. Like it was just like such a cool community thing. Like, and it was a fun show. We had a lot of technical difficulties, like with equipment just fucking up all the time. But it was, punk rock. It went well. It was, that kind of stuff happens. But yeah, we enjoyed it a lot. And yeah, I had some barbecue. I don't know I can't remember what exactly I had. I know I had barbecue, loads of tacos. What else did I have? I can't even remember. Just whatever. And yeah, just kind of we were there for a few days and just kind of wandered around the city and
Where did you
Um,
go, if you remember, in Houston, more or
her-
less?
we kind of went to I don't know. It was like it looked like the main city center, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
And we just
Usually
kind
the
of
White Oak is downtown Houston, so you're like in the
yeah.
middle.
So we got a tram, whatever it was,
Mm-hmm.
to the to what I think was the city center, and we just kind of looked around and went for food and went to like a park and just kind of just kind of wandered around, and then we were also just at the festival as well, just for most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, our hotel was kind of near the festival, so we would rest at the hotel, go to the festival, and then
Mm-hmm.
um, from then, yeah. But yeah, it was a fun time. Like I say, it was a great festival and one that I'd love to go back to, even just as a like
It's a bad.
an audience member. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I've been trying to do for years, but always the schedule never lines up with me. Because usually I have shows lined up around the same time, so that's why when Hellripper was announced, or you guys were announced, I already had shows planned for
Mm,
that month, so I couldn't make the trip. So maybe not this one, but maybe next one I'll have to start planning in advance to finally go to a Hell's Heroes, because it's a 6 hour drive for me, so it's not
mm,
technically that far, and I have family in
No,
Houston.
yeah.
So like that's no problem. But glad you had a great time, and I'm kind of surprised you actually enjoy Houston, because I figured that your first coming to the States would be somewhere like Chicago, or
mm.
like Cincinnati, or somewhere more. I don't know
Big
what's the
city,
best
big
way.
city, but not as massive as Houston, I think is what you're
Yeah,
getting
because
at, yeah.
because Houston is so massive that even people who live in Houston are like, "What the fuck are we doing here?"
Yeah. No, no, I can totally understand that. Yeah. I mean, like I say, we were only there for like what 3 or 4 days, and most of the time was spent at the festival, so we enjoyed that. And
Mhm.
then I think it was 1 or 2 days, I kind of I think one of the days I woke up really early and decided to go for a wander around Houston by myself. And I walked to some Target.
Mhm.
We don't have Target here, so
Mhm.
I went to Target to see what that was like, and all of that. And then yeah, the other day it was like we had a few hours to kill before we went to the airport, and so we just kind of wandered around the
Mhm.
city. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe if there was, yeah, maybe our experience was kind of different to what the usual Houston experience would be, I guess, based on
Yeah.
time and location and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Because Houston is a big, big city. There's a lot of stuff to look. And did you ever get recognized by fans? I'm pretty sure you did.
Not in the city. I mean, to be honest, there weren't much people going around
Mm.
when we were like in the
Mhm.
city center. I mean, at the festival, of course, yeah, because it's like the our community, and
Mhm.
we had played there as well, and people, so and like I say, we were just kind of out and about and
Mhm.
at the festival. We weren't backstage or anything. It was just watching loads of bands and Copy Witcher and Spectral Wound and Saxon, Abath, yeah, loads of stuff. Yeah, it was a crazy lineup, and it was cool to be a part
Mhm.
of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I remember seeing like pictures from that festival, particularly when Daniel DK, our mutual good friend DK, was
Yeah,
there. And the one picture that always stood out to me was like he was just crawling around like he was getting dragged by a chain by a few gorgeous babes, and I'm like, you lucky son of a bitch. But that's beside the point too on that. But and speaking of DK, you'll be happy to know I did actually finally get to meet him in person about a year and a half ago, right before I turned 30, when I saw Exciter, Midnight, Wraith, and Hellwitch live in Cincinnati. And
nice.
he recognized me immediately. And once we met up, he gave me the biggest hug ever, and we spent a good time talking. I got to meet the other guys from Exciter; they're all awesome. Uh, so yeah, I'll never forget that. But the other big thing to have happened since Warlocks Grim and Withered Hags came out is label change, going from Peaceville now
Yeah.
to
Mhm.
Century Media, which it's like no disrespect to Peaceville, but it's like their roster is great, but not nearly as like wide as say like a Nuclear Blast or a Century Media or even like a Relapse at this point. But going from one big league to an even bigger league of Century Media, which I remember first seeing that and I'm like, oh shit. Hellripper's on Century Media? That's awesome because like typically recently like Century Media's recent signings have been more or less the overly polished deathcore sound of like Lorna Shore and so on and so forth, which that definitely has its own place, but that's neither here nor there. But seeing like you and even the band Worm get signed to Century Media, it's like, okay, Century Media is waking up a little bit and getting some more underground stuff, which is great. How did that come about, getting to go to Century Media?
Yeah, it was just our contract with Peaceville had run out, and we had had a few interests from some labels. So I spoke to I think 3 or 4 different labels to see what would work best for the future of the band and what just what I thought would be best going forward for the next album. And yeah, they were all great. You know, they all had like advantages and things I liked. And but yeah, Century Media just felt like the best move to make. And the people that I was working with, you know, they were fans of the band before, and I'd met them previously and stuff like that, and we got on well. And yeah, I liked the philosophy of those guys, and yeah, it was kind of just kind of easy enough. I mean, it's funny as well because obviously years ago I sent demos to like all of these labels and Century Media and never heard back, and so it's funny to, you know, never give up, I guess, and you can
Full circle.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's awesome to go to an even bigger label, which leads to the big question. With going to a bigger label, I mean, usually that'll mean like more exposure, more tour opportunities, and even getting to possibly do the North American tour finally. Has that been discussed with Century Media yet about possibly doing a North America tour?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, Century Media, they're not so involved in the live side of things. You know, they can help with things if things come up, or, you know, I can get their opinion, or they can give me suggestions and stuff. But for the most part, I kind of just plan it with my booking agents. And yes, this year we are planning to come to the US. Still, obviously, the tour's basically been confirmed, but of course there's a lot of work still to do in the admin side and the logistical side and stuff like that. So I'm the plan at the moment is, yes, we will be in the United States nearer the end of the year. But you know, I don't want to get too ahead of myself in case something gets cancelled or something. You know, there's always the possibility for things to go wrong or get cancelled or whatever. So but yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It'll be a really cool one. The band that we're going to be playing with are one of my favorites. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, it'll be quite a long one. I think it's like over a month or something, or a month. I can't remember. But yeah, we've got loads of touring this year, and yeah, this year and next year are basically just touring non-stop almost, and getting to new places and just promoting the album really. And it's cool. It's basically the cycle starts again. You know, after Warlocks, we kind of did a bunch of touring and all of that kind of thing, and now cycle just starts again, and we're going even bigger this time. Just more places, more dates, bigger shows, whatever. Just getting the name out there, and
it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome, and I'm definitely hoping for a Cincinnati date for sure. And if that's the case, boom, no questions asked, I will be there.
Same with me, Texas, except if it's like El Paso, Albany, because those are motherfuckers like 12-hour drives. I'm gonna fucking drive 12 hours. I think the farthest I would go is Dallas because that's like a 6.5-hour drive at least. So that's my go to Dallas. That's like the farthest I'll ever go.
Yeah, like we'll see, and like you said, keeping us in suspense on who you're going to be playing with. So, yeah, from here until it does get announced, if things go accordingly, Ricky and I were going to be trying to play a guessing game against each other. And then when it gets shown, we'll be like, "Oh, I was right," or damn it, I was close." But
I think I have an idea, but I'll say that.
We'll talk about it individually later on, but now to talk about the new album coming out, Coronach, which for that because I'm stupid.
Coronach.
But that album coming out at the end of March, and already the new single Hunderprest came out, and very much akin to everything I've heard from you so far. Although I will admit, one thing that stood out about this song was I got reminded a little bit of Voivod, like back in the late 80s, with a little bit of like an atonal, almost dissonant kind of guitar. And I'm like,
people have been saying that, which is funny. Yeah. I mean, I love Voivod, but that was never like a conscious inspiration for that song. But, I'll take any comparison to Voivod. I mean, they're one of my... I love them.
Yeah. But to talk about inspiration for the new album, because like with Warlocks, Grim and Withered Hags, when we had you on last time before we talked about classic first wave proto black metal albums, we were talking a little bit about that and how like it was just so diverse in the songwriting, like getting thrashers to like classic speed metal, classic heavy metal, and even the last track, Mester Storeworm, having like almost like old Opeth and Catatonia to it. And it got me wondering a little bit if that side of your songwriting was going to be explored even further on the new album. And so I wanted to get your take on it. Like, where did the songwriting inspirations come from for this new one coming out in March?
Yeah. So, it's basically kind of continuing on from my mindset from the last album, and just expanding the musical the palette, like trying to get some diverse influences and kind of bring different elements again into the sound. There's different instruments in there for the first time. There's violin on a song, there's synth and piano, there's bagpipes again, acoustic guitar, organ, and what else? Cowbell. I don't think I've used cowbell before, but this time it was important.
I got a fever. The only prescription is cowbell.
Exactly. But yeah, just kind of influences from everywhere. So yeah, you've got the usual whatever, Venom, Merciful Fate, the Creator, all this kind of stuff. And then some songs I explored kind of some like crust punk, Swedish cross D beat, neo crust kind of influences, and kind of more atmospheric things. So bands like Oathbreaker or like Wolf Brigade and
Agalog.
Agalog.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's a big influence on like kind of the atmospheric parts. And just kind of loads of, especially what I was listening to a lot of was kind of like 90s kind of alternative rock for some production and alternate atmospheric ideas. So anything from the 90s to the 2000s, both American and British. Like it could be anything from Alice in Chains to the Manic Street Preachers to the Arctic Monkeys. Just a lot of different ideas coming from bands like that and kind of fitting it into the Hellripper
lore
sound. Yeah, and and then of course there's like more black metal, Watain, and there's like the Opeth influence, like you mentioned, and stuff like that. And just kind of trying. I like almost any kind of music. There's something I can find something to like in almost any kind of music. Even if it's not my favorite style, there's some bands that I think I'll love. Just because of like I think they're great no matter what style. And I may not be as familiar with like that genre as a whole or whatever. So yeah, just kind of trying to put everything from everything that inspires me and everything that kind of where I'm at this moment into the music and trying to make something a bit different, something a bit more personal, something most of all something I think is good. And it keeps me inspired as well. I think I mentioned on with the last album, it was important to kind of bring in these different influences because it keeps me inspired, it keeps me interested, it challenges me to think of new ways to do things. It allows me to do things I've never tried before, and keeps my creativity in check. And yeah, I think it's continued with this album, and I hope people like this album. I think it's cool. I think it's just kind of continuing on from the last one. I think it's more diverse overall in terms of a couple of the songs are a bit different to what you'd expect from Hellripper, but it's still overall speed metal and fast as fuck.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, even the album cover is kind of different. If you kind of notice it, has more gloomy colors. If you think about it, because the previous album covers have been more brightful colors like green, orange. This was just so like gray and black. Which, then again, you're sort of a big fan of black metal, so I'm not really surprised.
Yeah.
I honestly thought this was going to be a more gloomy album. Maybe it will be in the lyrics. So
I would say so.
maybe.
I would say it's more. I would say it's like I described it as more. For some reason, I don't know if this will relate to anyone, but for me, while writing this album, I kept describing it as like a cold sounding album. It gave me that was the word that came to me. It was cold or icy. I don't know if it was a bit more because it was more black metal influenced or something. I don't know if that will matter to anyone else other than me, just because it's the way I think while I'm writing. And yeah, that's what I wanted with the artwork. I wanted the colors to be blue, gray, or dark blue, gray, kind of colors to reflect what I thought the music sounded like. And it was done again by Adam Burke, but I wanted a kind of relation or to the previous album, but just kind of done the opposite way. So the previous album, it was all green and stuff because I thought the sound was more foresty. Again, probably means nothing to anyone else. And this one more icy. So the colors I wanted to be kind of the complete opposite. This time there's 3 figures again, but they're at the bottom right and in the foreground, whereas the last one they were top left in the background. The goat was bottom right in the foreground on the last one. Now it's in the top left of the in the background on this one. So it's keeping similar theme, but kind of wanted to do like the opposite of that. And yeah, the artwork, like I said, it's great. Adam Burke is just a amazing artist, and just kind of representing the landscapes of the Highlands, and it's inspired, like the environment, the landscape, whatever, is inspired by a place that is near my house. So it keeps it kind of, again, personal, and again, most of all, I think it looks cool. That's the most important part, I think, for anything. It's got to look cool, it's got to sound cool. Anything else is like the bonus and Easter eggs and all that.
Yeah, I mean, wow, my voice went to hell there. Ripped from hell, you could say. I'll be here all week. But no, but yeah, like definitely with everything you just said there, it got me excited even more for the album, and I'm already concocting and predicting in my brain that this new album is going to be a album of the year contender for me too. So
stay with me.
Because I mean, I've loved everything you've done thus far with the band, and I can't wait to hear what's coming up next. So that's gonna be cool. Funny enough, yesterday, as of recording this episode, I did an episode with Uffe Peterson from the band Mesro. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that band.
I don't think so.
Oh, very underrated Swedish thrash band. Like, when I
Okay.
talked to him yesterday, we bonded, he and I, over our mutual love of Metallica and Testament, because he told me
Love it.
that back when the band started in the 80s, like mid to late 80s, they were trying to go for more of the Bay Area sound as opposed to the German sound, because that's what he got into first. And I often, and again, this kind of comes off again with me like trying to push a band, but I really have been trying to push Mesro because they've been on a roll. It's like they had one album out in 1990, then broke up, came back 5 years ago, and they've had two awesome thrash albums since with great melody. They would be a band I would love to see tour with you, because it'd be like the perfect like old school meets new school, like thrash speed metal package right there. Because
I need to check them out. Yeah, I
oh,
need to check them out.
so good, such a killer band,
Underrated as hell. Underrated as hell.
super underrated. Like they're basically, like I said, the Swedish Testament Metallica. More Testament
Perfect.
than Metallica, I would say. But
Sounds good to me. Sounds
yeah.
good to me.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
really, really good. But got some quick questions. I sent out a thing on my Instagram from my followers to send some questions, and only got a few. But I figured go through these real quick. And well, this first one I got from Saint Steno. You pretty much kind of confirmed it somewhat, well, at least America-wise, but he asked thoughts on possibly doing a Latin America tour.
Yes, that's also in the plans. Like I said, this year it's going to be um, mostly Europe. We're doing a trip to Mexico for a couple of shows, and mostly Europe. And then, yes, hopefully this year we're going to do North America, like all the US and Canada. Hopefully, then yeah, 27. Where the plan is, yeah, to get to Latin America, hopefully some Asian stuff, probably Europe again, and then yeah. So yeah, we're just getting out there as much as we can, and we're trying to get to these new places. I think that's important, and yeah, we're all in. We're all in. So yeah, if all goes to plan, we'll be everywhere.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
The next question from Sus Metal on Instagram. She wanted to ask, looking forward to performing here in Maastricht, the Netherlands, in June.
Yes, yeah, that's a festival. Yeah, South of Heaven festival. That's a crazy lineup. Yeah, we're playing with. Yeah, the same day we're playing with like Megadeth. I believe Anthrax are there, and I think Dismember. Yeah, yeah. Anytime we play in the Netherlands is crazy. It's one of my favorite places. I think it might be overall my favorite place to play since the beginning. That's been the country I think that's kind of supported the band the most, or yeah, I think it's just been every show we do in the Netherlands is crazy. It's just carnage, and usually the attendance is great, and yeah, it's just I enjoy the Netherlands a lot. So yeah, I can't wait for that one either.
And then the last one I got on Instagram comes from Edgar Arts, who you're still grounded about the Asphyx Iraq quote. Just point that out there, but I digress. This is, I thought, was a great question that we may have talked about the first time you were on here 5 years ago. God, I can't believe it's been that long, but I digress even
That's
further.
ridiculous.
I know. But he actually had, technically it's two questions wrapped up into one. He wanted to know why you decided to make Hellripper, at least in the studio, a one-man thing, and how hard was it to learn each instrument accordingly?
It started because mainly, I mean, two reasons. There was no one else. I was in another band at the time, and we were like a crust punk kind of band. So that was my main band, and that was like the focus. And I didn't know anyone else that was into this kind of like black speed metal punk, whatever you want to call it. And so I wanted to kind of do a side project, which turned out to be Hellripper. And because I didn't know anyone else doing that was interested, inspired by people like Bathory, Midnight, um, Toxic Holocaust, all these bands that were kind of like DIY or and solo projects, or maybe two people. I thought, yeah, why not try it myself? Go that direction. It works for these bands, so let it let's see if it's possible. And yeah, it took a lot of time to learn, especially at the beginning. I wrote a whole bunch of stuff, and this was before I was even in a band. I wrote a whole bunch of stuff to kind of put out on my own, maybe 2 or 3 years before Hellripper kind of officially started. So this was the original kind of Hellripper plan, and yeah, I couldn't get anything sounding good. I didn't know how to record. I was just, yeah, it was just not working how I wanted it to. And so after months and months of trying and recording stuff, I recorded most of an EP, but it just didn't work. And so I deleted that, kind of I put it to the side. I joined another band and kind of practiced in the background, like getting better and stuff over the next couple of years. So that was the main kind of issue, with minimal equipment, like when I started Hellripper, everything was done and recorded in my bedroom at my parents' house while I was at university. So there was like, yeah, it was like kind of a little time because I was focused on other stuff. I was going out and I had another band and I had university and um, working and stuff, and so this was kind of trying to learn how to do everything with minimal equipment. Like one microphone, that microphone there you see, that is the same microphone that I've used to record absolutely everything
Stood the
since the
test of
beginning, and
time.
I still use it now for everything. And just I didn't even have a bass guitar at the time. I had to borrow from friends. Um, I just mic'd up my guitar amps. I had to get a bass amp, and it was like a tiny little practice amp, cheap practice amp that I mic'd up.
Mhm.
And the main goal, especially at the start, is I wanted to get something out there. I wanted it to sound good, but um, the main purpose was I wanted to get something out there. I wanted to start. I think, especially if you're trying to seek perfection before you do anything, I think it's kind of like not a procrastination, but it just stops you progressing, really. So I wanted to put something out there. It didn't match how I wanted it to sound 100%, no, but I liked the quality. I liked it. I realized it was the best I could do at that time. I put it out there, wanted to keep learning, and I think I've improved over the years. Just keep learning, keep learning. There was no, especially for the recording side and everything, even like with guitar, I never really got lessons, or I never went to like studied it or anything. It was kind of just watching YouTube tutorials and looking at tabs online and stuff like that. And the same with recording and mixing and stuff. It was just looking at YouTube tutorials, looking at forums, trial and error. If something sounded good, then why not do it that way? I work better like that, just kind of experimenting and stuff like that. And yeah, keeping it DIY. I like that. I come from like a punk scene, and I love punk music. And yeah, the Aberdeen scene was like very punk, and I just kind of grew up with that DIY kind of thing. And almost everything I've recorded has been DIY in some form. Even the band I was with previously, we would just hire a rehearsal room, mic everything up, do it in a couple of takes, and then everyone kind of do their parts at home. And so yeah, it's just a lot of how long does it take you to learn something? I mean, I'm still learning. You just kind of improve as you go. So yeah, I've been playing guitar for, how old am I now? 30, maybe 20 years I've been playing guitar, and I'm still improving. I'm still trying new things, still learning. And my way of learning now, because I used to like learn people's songs. I used to learn Metallica and Megadeth and Slayer and Evil and Testament and Havoc, and I used to like learn all these songs on guitar, and that helped me develop my abilities. Now I don't often learn other people's songs. I spend most of my time writing music because I enjoy it more. And if I want to learn a new technique, sometimes I just put it in a song and then I'm forced to learn it. One of the songs on the new album has got sweep picking on it, and I've never learned how to sweep pick on guitar. I've never been able to do it at all. And this is not a difficult part or anything. It sounds cool, but it's kind of a beginner sweep pick thing. And I thought, yeah, sounds cool. Now I'm forced to learn it because it's in the song, and if I ever want to play it, which we will, it's there. So you have to learn it. So that was a long-winded answer to.
Wait, we got down to the nitty-gritty on that one, because I mean, after all, at the end of the day, it's your baby, and do what you feel fits that baby perfectly to a T.
Yeah. And now that I've seen your Watain shirt, it kind of remind me that Watain's gonna be gone for this year.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on Watain calling a career? I mean, they've been around since the 90s, something around that. Released some great albums, and it's kind of upsetting that they're calling it
hanging up the paint and the blood and the spikes.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure Watain is a big inspiration to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's it's cool that they're calling it a day on their own terms, and they're doing it. Yeah, they're doing it how they want to do it. They're going at, instead of a big argument and just randomly splitting up and everything. At least they're doing one more album. I can't remember what they said. I think they're doing one more album, and I think they're maybe doing a tour or some live shows, and then they're breaking up. I can't remember, but it's better that it's on their terms than not. And yeah, it's sad, but I'm sure the guys in the band will do other stuff. I know the vocalist is doing a couple of other things, and it's cool. The band No Future plays drums in them, and that's really cool stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's always, if they feel that it's the end, then it's better to end than just like diminishing quality, and you don't want to be there and stuff like that. So yeah, it's understandable.
Which, unfortunately, with the diminishing returns thing, I felt that way with the new Megadeth album. It's like, yeah, they're about to hang it up, but yeah, that new album, I'm not feeling it. And I'm a giant Megadeth guy. Like, you could ask this guy, Megadeth's one of my 3 favorite bands of all time, up there with Metallica. But even I thought,
yeah, me too.
Man, Dave, you could have done better than this. I know you could have. Or hell,
I haven't listened to it myself. I haven't listened to it.
I will say there are some good songs on there, but a lot of it just kind of felt like run-of-the-mill songs that you may have heard from, like, Cryptic Writings or something like that, which I do love that album, but I don't know.
So that's one of my favorite Megadeth albums.
It's a great album, no doubt.
Favorite, I think, yeah.
No doubt, but like trying to implement that nowadays, and also like the mix was a little too sterile for my taste. And then of course the Ride Lightning cover, which musically is awesome, vocally, Dave. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I love you, Mega Dave, but I can't.
And
I'm sorry. It hurts.
This album
it hurts me in the heart.
Not the. At least the album's not the worst thing you could possibly
far from
hear.
the worst. It's far from the worst, and I'm glad for that. But part of me feels like maybe it should have just called it a quit selling the last album, because that was awesome. Sick to Dying to Dead was awesome, but I mean, at least one positive came out with this new album. Dave finally got a #1 album on Billboard 200 that he'd been chasing since
I saw
Countdown
that,
to
yeah.
Extinction. So it's like, okay, you call it quits, and you finally get #1. I'm happy for that. So I'll give him that, and I do hope to see Megadeth one more time before it's done, because I did get to see them once and put on a killer show. But I want to see them play with bands who are actually worthy of Megadeth, not this Five Finger Death Punch and Disturbed tour and stuff like that. Like,
I'm gonna see them with Anthrax and Maiden.
I was hoping they would have had a Cincinnati date for that show, and I would have gone to that easily, because I almost saw Maiden in 2019. So, but back to the Watain thing, it's like, yeah, it's best to call it while you're ahead, or you unfortunately could end up like at the gates, where it's like the future's uncertain after losing Tampa, which I was speaking about that with Ufe from Mesro yesterday. We both feel like, yeah, whenever this possibly final album for At the Gates, because Tampa thankfully did get his vocals recorded before the cancer treatment. So it does remain to be seen if that will get released. Well, I think I saw they are going to release it. It's just a matter of finding the right time, but I feel like that's going to be an amazing album, but at the same time, it's going to be a tearjerker. Because, I mean, rest in peace to the godfather of Gothenburg Melodeath, pretty much. But just to kind of like bond over other things, metal and such. I did see, James, that this upcoming European tour you're doing, one band that's playing with you is Belgian's Schizophrenia.
Yeah, Schizophrenia and Sarcator. Yeah, both killer bands. Yeah.
Especially Schizophrenia, like that first album, Recollections of the Insane. Man, that is such a brutal album. Like, basically, if Morbid Angel were a thrash band as opposed to just death metal, it's like... And hell, even doing that cover of Maze of Torment was killer, and I want to hear them put out something new, because it's been 4 years since that debut, and it was incredible. And so, yeah, getting to see you touring with them is pretty cool as well, because both you and them are two of my favorite newer-ish bands to listen to from time to time when I'm feeling in the mood for something fast, or in the case of Schizophrenia, something brutal and fast. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. And then Sarcator, very good in their own right, even though their frontman almost looks like he could pass as John Nodvite's kid. Because you can see it in the face. But yeah, that's pretty cool that that's coming up for you. And I guess before we wrap this episode up, any final words to say to your fans, and like, what does the future hold beyond the new album and the upcoming tours?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, check out the new album, March 27th, Coronach, wherever you stream or listen to music or whatever. There's a bunch of different vinyl variants and cassette variants and CD release. Yeah, and we're going to be touring for like the next 2 years, basically. Getting everywhere. There's still a lot of stuff to announce. Yeah, like you say, we're going on tour of Europe with Schizophrenia and Sarcator, which will be cool. That's kind of starting the album campaign. Yeah, we're doing some stuff in Mexico. We're doing a couple shows with Midnight in June. We're doing some festivals. We're doing a couple shows with Testament again, which is ridiculous and amazing.
Me and Athanar back at that show.
Yeah. And yeah, we're going to just be doing a whole bunch of stuff. And yeah, a lot of it's still to be announced at the moment, but a lot of stuff is in the works. And yeah, I'm looking forward to doing a bunch of stuff we haven't done before. And yeah, hopefully we'll see people out there. It'll be fun.
And hopefully, if that American tour does happen, or Cincinnati date, no doubt I will do my best to be there, and hopefully we can meet up in person, because that would be awesome for sure. So
Yeah,
But
man, I'm always around at shows. I get
Oh
bored
yeah.
backstage, unless I'm like so tired or so ill or something,
right,
I'm always like out at the shows. I just get really bored backstage. Like I sit there, I have a little break there,
right.
I sit there and I'm like, cool, I've had my break for like, I don't know, 30 minutes or something, and then yeah, I just get bored, and then I'm like, yeah, it's cool. I'll go and speak to people, and yeah, I'm usually at the merch, selling the merch myself and
Hmm.
all that kind of stuff. Yeah, like I say, yeah, it's just yeah, I prefer the actual show atmosphere. I'm never really I'm never really side stage watching bands or anything. I like it better in the crowd.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Yeah, just yeah. So yeah, if you come to a Hellripper show, you will probably see me.
yeah, yeah. Because that's funny you said that. Because whenever I saw Midnight Exciter Wraith at Hellwitch, like during, I think the Wraith said I saw DK walk around in the crowd
Mm,
and then walk around during the Midnight set and then get up on stage for the Exciter set. So yeah, I always loved that. And that was my first and so far only club show I've been to, and it was awesome, despite it being in the middle of summer and the AC wasn't working. All they had was
Mm,
ceiling fans, so I was sweating like a fucking, I don't,
yeah.
sweating like a jalapeno. So
Oh yeah, we've
it was
we've done a
hot,
few
but it
shows
was
like that,
awesome.
man. Yeah, it's always fun when you arrive in the venue and it's absolutely boiling. We've played a few shows, and they're always fun. But yeah, there's a few shows where it's like in between every song, you need to have a break.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to like
Need to get some
you're just
water, need to
dying.
get some water or beer in you, and just like,
Yeah, yeah. There's a few where it's like I'm like I think I might pass out, but
yeah,
yeah, it's usually summertime. We've played a few shows where we arrive in the city and the promoter will be like, yeah, it's actually the hottest day that's ever been recorded or whatever. And we're like, perfect. And yeah, it's fun, rock and roll,
oh yeah,
playing all
absolutely,
conditions.
oh yeah.
absolutely. Well, I think we're gonna wrap up on that note. So,
Hmm.
thank you once again, James, for being on here. As you have now reached
Thank you guys.
legendary status on the show, being on here 3 times now. We got other people that are getting close to that spot, like Jesper from Yotun, who I just had a couple weeks ago, and
Hmm.
so on and so forth. Of course, the Blood Red Throne guys are always welcome here, but and you're
Yeah.
always welcome here too whenever you're available. Maybe we'll get you back for a 4th time, and we just keep growing this ongoing friendship that we have with you,
I
and
see.
just
I think so. I
and
think
just
so.
keep that going. But anyways, and thank you guys who tuned in to watch this episode. Thank you so much for subscribing, all that stuff. Future plans for the show, of course, we always are on the lookout for more people to talk to. I know at some point we are going to try and get Arthur Risk on the show, maybe even
Yeah.
John McEntee at some point, even everyone from Castrator at once. We might be able to pull that off, which I know Ricky and I would have to contain ourselves, but but other than that, watch your balls, as they say. But, but of course, we always are trying to reach out to other people. I mean, hell, I got emailed about the possibility of getting someone from Testament on here, and I'm pushing to try and get Chuck Billy on here, and that would be like, oh god, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do?
It's another Dan Swano situation again.
Yeah, yeah, it'll be like that. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching. But until next time, as I always say, keep your horns high and your dreams wet.